Megan Russell is our Director of Procurements here at the Commission on National Community Service, and she's going to go ahead and share with us New York State contract requirements.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you so very much for joining and sharing your stories about the community. Definitely much more exciting than the information that I'm going to share. However, the majority of the information that I will share on my slides, you will be familiar with because you would have been in most of these systems while you were applying for your grants. Okay, so you recorded for me?
Yep, all set.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you. And it is September 30th, not the 9th, but we had to shuffle around our presentation. So thank you so very much, Eric. Next slide. Today we'll be talking about the online contract management system where your electronic contracts will live. We'll also talk about the statewide financial system, SFS vendor portal, the system for award management, otherwise known as SAM, the Office of State Comptroller's VendRep system, where you'll do your vendor responsibility information. And then we'll talk about a couple of other important policies. So contract management system, CMS is a secure web-based application of the Office of Children and Family Services where the commission is housed. And this is paperless. It's also integrated with the SFS and allows for online claim submission and processing. So instead of managing contracts through the paper-based system using interoffice mail, email, and faxes, OCFS and the commission staff use CMS to transmit contract data interdepartmentally as well as externally to the contractor. CMS also assists in project management by task tracking scheduled contract and financial transactions to ensure prompt contracting and timely payment processing. Next slide. So we just wanted to note that although you may be able to successfully log in with other browsers, Chrome is a supported and preferred browser. You will notice that although you are able to go in and do most of the tasks, there are some differences when using them. So we just suggest that you use Chrome if possible. Next slide. So designated multiple users for CMS roles will prevent delays in contracting processes during vacations, sick leaves, and other absences. So the organization designates CMS users for preparing contract documents or expenditure claims and for electronically signing the contract or expenditures. Next slide. CMS authorization form must be completed. And this form just allows the users of your organization to obtain user roles. And the program administrator can provide the form upon request if you don't have access to it. So an electronic copy must be mailed to your commission program administrator, and the CMS authorization form should be reviewed annually or whether there's a change, whenever there's a change in personnel to ensure that CMS reflects the appropriate organizational contacts and CMS reviewers. So there are several user roles designated for contractor use. The specific functions can be performed in the system based on privileges assigned to specific CMS roles. Multiple CMS roles or user IDs may be assigned to an individual, and certain roles dictate specific tasks, actions. It's not unusual that an organization designate an individual to possess multiple roles to perform particular tasks within the system. Although conure is not necessary or useful, it could be helpful in training purposes. So the important roles are on the top three here listed on the slide, and make sure that someone at your organization has an active account for each of those roles. Next slide. So since CMS tasks are dictated by the CMS rules, please be reminded that claim tasks can only be processed by users who are logged in with the role assigned to a particular review stage. For auditing and review assurances, most expenditure schedules contain 2 contractor stages, a con user and a claim sig role. Please refer to the contractor using manual for detailed logging instructions, and we'll link that in the chat in a bit. So any pending tasks must be accessed through the inbox, and items are organized by the contract tasks within the inbox. The type of task depends on the contract transaction, and CMS tasks are defined below. So amendments are initiated outside of CMS using budget amendment request form found on the Commission's website. Once the amendment is reviewed and approved by the Commission and the Bureau of Contracts here at OCFS, it is set up in CMS. So please communicate with your program administrator when thinking about initiating a budget amendment, but all other tasks will be found in your inbox through the contract management system. So whenever there's a pending task, a system-generated email notification is sent to a primary reviewer designated in the contract task. These email notifications are sent to the primary reviewer's external email account and not in the CMS inbox. Also, some email providers filter certain emails, so it's essential to check spam or junk folders if any email notifications from OCFS are not received. So there may be multiple persons within the organization with the same role and specific task is pending for each action. However, anyone with those same permissions necessary to finalize the task has the ability to access the CMS inbox and complete their task. Next slide. So the next few slides, we're just going to go through and logging a claim is really ultimately the majority of the tasks that you at your organizations will complete. During contract development, the commission staff, your program administrator will input the budget and upload documents for you. And then really ultimately you'll just have to sign. But as far as logging a claim into CMS, we'll go through these couple of slides. And then if you want a more detailed walkthrough, we can certainly schedule a time to meet up with our CMS team, for specific transactions. But logging a claim into CMS is against a proof contract. So you'll see an expenditure or an advance task in CMS, and this is referred to logging a claim. So any user, except for the users with read-only privileges, can log a claim. Next slide. So ClaimSig user role. Although claims may be logged by any of the CMS users associated with a particular contract, the claim task only can be signed electronically by the ClaimSig. Next slide. From the contract list, you can locate the contract along the corresponding contract period over on the left-hand side. Next, you will select Log Link from the Action column to navigate an expenditure report log screen. Yep. In an expenditure report log, complete the necessary details as the claim required by the type. And to save the information to initiate the process, the message "claim successfully logged" will appear in the upper right corner, and then the next button in the lower right corner will be enabled for selection. Then you can hit next to continue processing the claim. So once a claim is logged, it becomes a task in the CMS inbox. The CMS tasks are based on CMS roles. Claim tasks can only be processed by whichever role it is assigned that review stage. And expenditure schedules contain 2 review stages, con user and claim sig. Before getting started in CMS, please check with your program administrator ask or designate default reviewers for the claiming task schedules. And as we said before, it is really helpful to have multiple users in your organization with the different roles, to help make sure that there are no delays in contracting. So these are additional resource materials, and online tutorials can be found at the Office of Children and Family Services website. You can also contact the CMS helpline at these numbers, or email your program administrator and we can help troubleshoot. But I'll be happy to schedule, like I said, an in-depth CMS training for anyone who would like a walkthrough of those applications functions.
I just want to drop the, you had mentioned in your, presentation, Megan, about putting the contractor manual in the chat. I don't think I'm able to
Appreciate
do
that.
that from this slide, but if anyone else from the commission staff can pull it up from the OCFS website and throw it in the chat, that would be helpful.
Yeah, and I believe that these slides will have interactive links as well that you'll be able
That's
to
true.
click on.
Yep. Okay. Excellent. So we're just going to take a second and we're going to do our first poll question. And if you want to just scan the barcode, I'm going to go ahead.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, while Eric's working on this, certainly happy to answer any questions that you might have about the contract management system.
I'm also going to put a link for the poll question in the chat. Did everyone get that right, Megan? Well, is con user? Which CMS role is
Yeah.
responsible for many contract-related data entry tasks, such as completing online program reports and or entering claim information online? That's con user, right, Megan?
Yes, that's correct. Con user.
Excellent. All right.
And as far as the con viewer is concerned, I do have to note that although that is a role that you can assign a person in your organization, it would really be for training purposes. They will have read-only access.
Good job, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, so grants management. Grants management used to be in the Grants Gateway, but it is now in SFS, the statewide financial system. All requirements remain the same, and only the platform for grant management has changed from the Grants Gateway to the New York State financial system. Agencies that use Grants Gateway for specific grants programs and business functions will now use SFS for those same grant programs and those same business functions. So nonprofit organizations must pre-qualify to do business with New York State agencies before that they can complete any state grants processes. And this will allow non-for-profits to address questions and concerns prior to entering a competitive bid process. Nonprofits are strongly encouraged to begin pre-qualification as soon as possible. But the good news is that you all completed this during the application process. Next slide. So this slide depicts the documents that you will need to initialize your vault and become pre-qualified. Now that you have become pre-qualified, you'll be responsible for maintaining the status throughout the life of the New York State contract. So how do I do this? Next slide. Certain financial documents and forms must be updated each year. To remain pre-qualified and eligible for state grant awards, once pre-qualified, it's the responsibility of non-for-profits to maintain pre-qualification. There are three nonprofit essential financial documents: the IRS 990, Financial Statement and Audits Review, and the Charities Bureau filing, which is otherwise known as the CHAR 500. These expire on an annual basis, and nonprofits must upload current versions of these documents each year to maintain pre-qualification. Nonprofits are also provided a full 10 and a half months from the end of the fiscal year to provide a current IRS 990 or financial statement without the interim requirement of uploading extension requests. Next slide. Delegated admin's responsibility. So only one delegated admin role is assigned for each vendor ID. So you'll only have one at your organization. The admin should ensure that all SFS users know how to contact them for password resets, to communicate updates that are needed with account information. And failure to maintain your SFS vendor information and update SFS portal may result in payment delays. They can also add and remove additional contacts. They can request to change or replace the primary contact and reset and unlock user passwords for their organization. Next slide, sorry. So once a document vault is in an expired status, the grantee is no longer considered pre-qualified. Also, if the document vault is in the status of document vault modified, modifications required, there are certain sections that need to attention before the document vault can be then considered again pre-qualified. You can find out where your organization stands by running the state pre-qualification application status report, which is shown here, to determine what action is required of your organization. Next slide. So why is this information important? You must maintain pre-qualification of your vault status, and it'll be reviewed during contract development and during contract amendments throughout the life of your New York State contract. So although you guys applied quite a while ago with your applications and you were considered pre-qualified at that point, or else you wouldn't have met the minimum requirements of the RFP. It's been a while, and so it is possible that pre-qualification, could use some attention in your vault. So that said, right now, our office is working with the Bureau of Contracts to set up your contracts. So now would be the time to go in and just check to see what your status is, to see if there's any action items that you need to take care of. But an expired date next due on the financial document form triggers the loss of pre-qualification. Next slide, sorry. And the information here is the help desk with the hours, and then an email if you do have any issues in SFS, which is not owned by OCFS. It's not run by OCFS, so that's something that we, do not have the ability to, troubleshoot as well as the help desk does. We also have a grantee user manual for that as well, for guidance on how to complete processes. The grantee user manual can also be obtained by logging into the SFS vendor portal and locating the training materials or an SFS coach. A series of virtual training sessions was recorded on how to use SFS and is also available in the coach for reviewing on demand. Next slide.
All right, we're going to have another polling question. And I'm going to drop a link for it in the chat if you're not able to use the QR code. And just give everyone a minute to answer it. See if you were paying attention. So the question is, to maintain pre-equal status, New York State requires grantees to annually update the organization's. Answer A is IRS 990, W9, and organization chart. Answer 2 is IRS 990, audit review and findings, and the CHAR 500. Or answer 3 is the CHAR 410, New York State 410, and senior leadership resumes. Let's see how everyone did. That's correct. Answer B is the correct answer. Good job to everyone who got it right. Nice work.
Thank you. Next, we're just going to touch base on the system for award management. So what is SAM? It's a government-wide portal that is consolidating the capabilities of multiple systems and information sources used by the federal government, and conducting the acquisition and financial assistance, which also includes grants and cooperative agreements. Next slide. You can also find contract opportunities, contract data for reports, wage determinations, assistance listings, and entity reporting. Next slide. So the system for award management has the UEI, the unique entity identifier, which all of you needed for your application in eGrants. It's a 12-character alphanumeric value, and it's assigned, managed, and owned by the federal government, which just validates your organization's legal business name and address. And if you remember, you just have to make sure that everything is exactly as it is in both systems in order to pass. Next slide. So once awarded a grant, entities must maintain an active SAM registration throughout the life of the award as well. The registration must be renewed annually, and the applicant's name and physical address must match exactly the information that the organization registers. Next slide. Okay, so finally, we're going to talk about VENDREP. VENDREP, vendor responsibility, is performed after the award is made and is a process required by the Office of State Comptroller, OSC, in order to contract with New York State. Next slide. So vendors must maintain their vendor responsibility throughout the duration of the contract. This is also something that right now during contract development is going to be reviewed and must be up to date. Please just look out for any communication from our office with regard to that. So enrolling and completing the online questionnaire through the system is probably the best method because both the questionnaire and the answers are stored in the online system. So subsequent questionnaires in response to contracts or RFPs from any state agency would only need to be updated in the VENDREP system. Next slide. An online questionnaire is considered current if it's been certified within 6 months of an agency-defined due date for the questionnaire. So as I said before, because you guys applied for the grants a while back, it's very possible that your organization will need to go in and make your VENDREP questionnaire current. So even where there is a current online questionnaire, it's the vendor's responsibility to ensure that the questionnaire reflects any material changes that have occurred since the last certified questionnaire. So anytime anything changes in your organization, you should go in and review to see if any updates need to be made. Next slide. Okay, so now we're just looking at the contracts documents that make up the actual online contract. The contract documents that are seen here are fairly self-explanatory. The commission has determined here, and the attachment, I believe now it's the attachment 7A3, federally funded vendor determination, sub or not sub. What that really means is the commission has determined that awardees under formula and competitive procurements are deemed subrecipients as described in 2 CFR 200.330 for the purpose of carrying out a portion of a federal award. The award letters provide additional information for subrecipients on an additional sheet of the award letter known as the Federal Award Information Sheet. Next slide. So all vendors must provide proof of workers' compensation coverage. And except for municipalities who are exempt, vendors must also provide proof of disability benefits coverage by uploading either one of the following into CMS or providing to your program administrator, and they will upload into CMS for you. Next slide. So both workers' comp and disability forms must list New York State Office of Children and Family Services as a certificate holder, and the dates of the certificate must be current. The address for New York OCFS is 52 Washington Street, Rensselaer, New York 12144. Next slide.
All right, folks, we're going to take our final question here for contract requirements. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link to the question in the chat. It's a true or false question. Just going to give everyone a second to click on the link or the QR code and go ahead and answer the question. Question is, the legal applicant's name and physical address and e-grants must match exactly the applicant's SAM registered information. Is that true or false? The legal applicant's name and physical address and e-grants must match exactly the applicant's SAM registered information. See how everyone did. Excellent. True is correct. So your name and physical address and e-grants must match your SAM registered information. That is correct. Good job, everyone who got that correct. Does anyone have any questions for Megan? Does anyone have any questions about New York State contract requirements?
Must have been crystal clear.
Must have been. Great job, Megan.
And all of you should have my email address and can certainly answer any questions offline that you might have.
Do we need a break or can we launch right into the highly anticipated financial management?
Sorry.
There are people attending only for that, Jim.
Everybody's favorite topic.
I
can use a break.
Me too. I second that motion. Let's see now. It's 10:46. I don't want to give us 4 minutes, but let's go 5 minutes. Can we do 10:51? How's that sound? Or should we go crazy and go 10:55? Go ahead, Leslie. What do you think?
I'm sorry, I was just agreeing to 10:55.
10:55? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right, 10:55 it is, folks. I'll see you soon.